URL out a little bit earlier, but here we go. Oh, and look at that background. All right, guys, we are live, going to go live quickly on Instagram, live with Kelin Mills and Dean Shelley. Welcome, guys. Got to give you Oaks one of those. We're going to be... More, gaan het? Yeah, awesome to be chatting to you guys. I was going to say, when did they start speaking Afrikaans in Durban? The
last colony has fallen.
The last colony has fallen. Okay, fair enough. Over and done. So I think what's really cool is, firstly, it's epic to have you guys on, and got to spend time with you guys at Strongman SAs down in Durban that Dean, you organize, or you, Kelin as well, and putting together. So I think let's start off with a quick intro as to who each of you guys are. I do apologize for the echo in the background. We haven't got the studio completely soundproofed yet, but I hope you guys can hear me okay.
No, we can.
Cool.
I can, yeah.
Awesome. Kelin, give us a quick intro as to who you are and how you got started in Strongman.
All right, so I'm Kelin Mills, currently SA Strongest Man. Former two-time SA, well, now I'm three-time SA Strongest Man, former Africa Strongest Man, and the current acting Africa Strongman Union President. So yeah, I got into Strongman a few years ago, quite a few years ago. Through obviously meeting Tristan and Dean, the Durban guys. They came up here for a competition. They were busy helping out with the SCL in Hatfield, and basically, from there I was interested in doing strongman. But even before then, I was weight training and that type of thing. Strongman's always been around. I've been watching World's Strongest Man since I could, go to the gym, start lifting and that stuff. So it's always been an interest of mine, other than bodybuilding. So yeah. That's basically where I fit in the strongman scene.
So are you blaming Dean for getting you started?
No, Dean and Tristan, they're the oaks that I came into the sport with. So, it's their fault.
100%. Awesome. Well, what a great intro for Dean. So, yeah, Dean, the guy blamed for getting Kelin into Strongman. Welcome to the chat. Give us a little bit of a background, please, as to who you are.
Okay. Sure. I came into Strongman in 2010. I used to be a rugby player, multiple Africa champion. I've won SA Strongest Man. I'm like the John Wick of Strongman in South Africa. The guy who refuses to die, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
100%. So I love that. With you, what was the reason that you moved from rugby to Strongman?
I just when I looked at the sport, obviously someone that I really liked and used to aspire to was Jean-Paul Sigmarsson.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I got the love for Strongman. Was watching that guy, and then I thought, well, I've got nothing else to do. I need to find something competitive. I got a bit tired of rugby, to be honest with you. I just got to a point where it was just too much. I think I don't enjoy the running part.
Mm-hmm.
It just it's just too much. And then I thought, no, it's not for me anymore. I do have regrets though that I stopped a bit too early, but I went into Strongman and it's been good for me. It's been very good for me.
Was it the running or cardio? Because having seen Strongman and realizing how much cardio is actually involved, having been at the comps, I mean, it's absolutely mind-blowing to see how much cardio is actually going on.
You do need some cardio, and I think it's more like an anaerobic type of cardio. So rugby's quite similar, but I think the cardio when it comes to rugby is 100 times worse. Let me tell you, no, it's not fun.
Yeah, I think there seems to be a lot of rugby players that find their place within strongman, within powerlifting, within the strength sports, because it's something that's always just the love and value of being strong and strength training, I think, is something that never leaves us. Something I wanted to ask you guys, for both of you now, is do you think there's an innate competitive streak within both of you that you, in order to be, I don't want to say in order to be happy, but in order to be happy, you want to keep competing and you need to compete? Dean, let me throw that out to you first and then to Kelin.
Yeah, I think there is most definitely. There's obviously a void. I think maybe when you're a high performer, you need something to keep you going. So most definitely there is something innate to it. It's, I don't know. It's just, you just can't let it go. You just, once it's like this iron snake bites you, then it bites you. You just can't let it go.
That's it.
So,
Yeah.
but you do get to a point where it becomes a bit much. I mean, the body gets older, but I don't know if it's the body or if it's the mind, maybe a bit more. The mind gets tired of lifting heavy weights and the discipline and the routine, and it's a huge sacrifice. You give up a part of your life, and then the people around you are the ones that get affected the most by it. It's not easy.
So sort of as we age, our life evolves, we start having families, getting married, kids, family, other commitments, and you need to find
Correct.
where you can balance your time.
Correct.
Right. Kelin, for you, what's the competitiveness like in your life? Is it something that you need? Is it something that you strive for as well?
So competitiveness is, in general, it's a good thing for a human being to be in a competitive environment. If obviously it just depends on people. You get some people that just idle and cruise through life, like not worried about, hitting their goals or reaching this or reaching that. But as a man, I think being competitive, you have to be competitive, because out there, like, we don't really hunt anymore. As primal as that sounds, we don't hunt anymore. So in terms of business, that type of thing, sport, we gotta fulfill that need, that primal need inside of us, and we've got to be useful as well. So just trying to be competitive, and reaching the top of business, getting those clients or whatever the case is, you've got to have that competitive nature to survive almost. So I think it's ingrained in all of us. Just some people, it might just be a bit lazier than others, but we need competition to keep us going. Otherwise, I just don't see the point of it all. I've got to have something to be a goal, or something to attain, or that type of thing. So there always has to be something next to focus on. Strongman was a very big part of my life, obviously, and as Dean says, it takes up a great chunk to be this strong and to stay competitive and at the top of the game. So you do sacrifice a lot. So I mean, whereas we could have been more ahead in business or in certain aspects of our life, it does take away from it, because it does take up a whole chunk of it to be where we are. And it's not even like we at the top, where if you look at the Brian Shaws and that, we at that level, we just haven't managed to reach that level or attain it. So, but we do put in the effort and the professionalism to be where we are. So it does take a bit of your life away, but I don't have any regrets with it. So I really enjoy the sport, and I've enjoyed the brotherhood that it's given us, and friends and rubbishers like Dean that come into your life, and so there's a give and take, and that's it. But competitiveness always has to be ingrained and a part of who I am. Yeah, so that's it.
You've both brought up such important points, and something that I'd like to go a little bit deeper into before we start talking about the competitions, because I think it's so valuable, and I think particularly for parents where, I think if you have the opportunity growing up to be competitive, to play rugby, to play sport at school, that bug bites you and you realize that it's something very healthy for you, not only physically, but mentally, and it enables you to become the best version of yourself. Sometimes if you don't have that opportunity, you can become the type of person who, is maybe a little bit short-tempered, a little bit angry, a little bit lacking in ability to sort of exist in the world, because you're a natural warrior, you're a natural competitive athlete. And when you have that opportunity to compete, you can put that energy into where it needs to be. Because as you said, Kelin, we're not hunters, right? We're not going out to get our food. We're not going out to challenge ourselves. And I believe that every sort of generation has its warriors, the people that need to compete and to compete at a very, very high level. And what I'd like to ask you, do you think the competition has enabled you guys to be the best versions of yourselves? Kelin, I'll start with you, please, and then Dean.
So yeah, competition does bring out the best version of yourself, as well as the ugly version of yourself as well. Sometimes when you put in all the work and and things just don't go your way, so you learn how to accept the failures as well. You're more graceful in defeat, so you understand that you got to go back, work harder, but it does bring out the best in you as well, in terms of bringing your A game, your best performance, and then as well as like sportsmanship. It's just a great a great thing to have inside of you, to respect your fellow sportsman and understand that he's also gone through the same thing as you, and if he wins, that's well done to him, and you've got to go back to the drawing board and accept that you've got to work a bit harder for next year or the next title, the next competition. So it does help you progress and become better at what you are doing and become a better human at the end of the day as well.
Sure, fantastic, thank you. Dean, for you, have you found that it's enabled you to be a better version of yourself?
100%. But I need to go back to what Kelin said is, and that's what I appreciate about Kelin so much, is that we have a healthy competitive relationship. We want to beat each other. There's no doubt about it. There's no hiding it. We want to beat each other. We want to have the bragging rights. We want to tease each other, but it's not unhealthy. It doesn't get ugly. Kelin beats me, he beats me. It's end of the story. I beat him, he beats. It's just it's such a nice rivalry that we have with each other, that it doesn't get ugly.
100%.
No matter what's happened, no matter how many times he's beaten me and I've beaten him, it never gets ugly. It always stays the same. We always have the utmost respect for each other, and it's something I do appreciate. And then getting back to your question, it does help you in life. It teaches you to be resilient, to keep going forward, to deal with the rejection. Is something that you deal a lot with in sales. Sometimes when you're training, things just go wrong, and you just have to keep coming back. You have no option. It's the only way, or you quit. That's the other option.
There's so many great life lessons in there, that sometimes to be competitive against someone at an elite level, someone that you respect and value, is a great way of getting closer to one another and building a friendship and a connection that's really on a level that you wouldn't be able to do perhaps in day-to-day life, because you understand what it took for the other athlete to get to where they need to be. And you want your opponent to bring their very best A game, so that you have to bring your best A game. It's such a great lesson. And also with that, understanding that you could put in like with sales, you could put in your best effort, you could put in everything 100%, and you still don't get the deal. And you can bring 100% on the day and you still don't get the victory. Sport's a wonderful way to test ourselves and to challenge ourselves and to learn lessons from life. And I think on that point, what would you guys say to parents about letting their kids get involved in competitive sport like strongman? Dean, if I can start with you on this one.
Yeah, I want to go back one step. Yeah, and also if you look at the characters that get attracted to strength sports, it's generally guys that come from I don't know, tough backgrounds, guys that don't really fit in to the normal status quo, if that's the right word. And it makes you feel worthy because when you get under the bars or you get under the logs, or it's not subjective. So it's not Kelin thinks I look good or Kelin thinks I'm strong. When you lift a 200 kilogram Atlas stone, you lifted a 200 kilogram Atlas stone and no one can take it away from you.
Yeah.
You can be rich, you can be poor, you don't speak properly, you're not as articulated as others, it doesn't matter. When you get under that bar, whether you're squatting, whether you're deadlifting, whether you're log pressing, whether you giant dumbbell at the stone yoke, whatever it is, it's about you, and it makes you feel worthy of something. And
Sure.
so for parents need to get their children into, because it does teach you, look, you have to deal with failure. Life is about failure. You get more failures than you have successes in life. And that's just the way it is. It's not going to change. It's not going to change in my lifetime. It's not going to change in my ancestors' past lifetimes. That's just the way it is. And sport teaches you. You're going to fail and you just have to get up.
And you just
the way it
absolutely
works.
love that lesson. Absolutely. And it's a safe way to do it. It's, when you don't win and get what you want within sport, it's not going to cost you much other than, putting your ego aside and saying, I need to do better.
Correct. Yeah.
Absolutely. Kelin, for your
And the
side.
thing is,
You're sorry, Dean. Go
when you
ahead.
win,
Yeah.
when you win, you don't even feel that great though, because when you win, it's more like a relief. Like, okay, I can do it. So it's not like, yes, I'm the African champion, or I've this and that. It's like, okay, I've made it to the top of the mountain. Okay, what's the next thing now?
Yeah.
So it's actually it's not a horrible thing. It's like a hamster on a wheel.
Yeah. You're thinking, you get it before you even get to the podium to get your medal. You're going, okay, 2 days recovery, maybe. Is it 1 day recovery, and then we're going to start training for the next event.
Correct. Yeah.
That's it. Oh, Kelin, from your side?
From my side, I think, getting into strength sports for parents, what they can put to it, like it'll teach a child discipline. It'll assist them with the other sports that they are in. And I'll just always recommend any child to be involved in any type of sports, especially team sports, because what team sports do, they encourage team building, working with people, understanding how to operate in a team, as well as, you start to learn how to network as well, talking to other people, talking to other teams, going to other schools, meeting new people, that type of thing. So, I mean, within that, strength sports just builds on top of that. You just got to be strong to do any kind of sport as well. So, the discipline that it involves, it'll just give them that extra, and then also purpose. Purpose is always a good thing to have. You need a purpose as a human being. You need to know where you're going, what direction you're taking. Otherwise, you get lost, you get depressed. You start thinking about all these other things, and you just, lose yourself, basically, lose your way. Whereas, when you've got a purpose and a direction, that always helps. So, strength does give you that, getting stronger step by step and going forward. It always helps and keeps you motivated. Sometimes not so motivated, but you still keep going in the direction.
Absolutely. Do you guys have, and then I want to go to a listener's comment. It's such a great point that in terms of purpose and intention, because we need to struggle to find our purpose. I think there's nothing worse in this world than having everything handed to you and having everything easy, because you never have to struggle, so you don't understand what you're capable of and what you can do. And then when you're stuck on your own having to defend yourself, you don't have the experience and the tools. So a safe environment for parents to let their kids experience these things is sport, is strength sport, is strongman. It's a wonderful, appropriate, and safe place. Just a quick. We'll go. By the way, what I wanted to ask you guys just before we go to the comment, do you guys like in Rocky? Do you have photographs of one another on your mirrors? So you wake up in the morning and you're tired and you're going to check that I'm coming for him. So Dean says no, but Keelan's been quite.
I messaged Dean quite a bit before competition and just chirp him. I'm doing my push-ups in the bedroom
Yeah,
at night.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for you. I hope you've been doing the dumbbell.
Well, yeah. Fantastic. So we got a comment from, it's RID, so I think RID1 lifts, and shout out to the stream for handling this much strength and testosterone on one live stream. So there we go. Well, guys, this is why we do it online, so it's safer. Otherwise, in one room, it would be too much for me. And we've got another one, Harvey VD. Kelin, do you look through what? Do you look through the glasses, or do you look at the glasses and the glasses look further?
Yeah. I've just recently got glasses, so everyone knows.
Okay.
I've been chirped a lot. So yeah, I didn't know that some people are how they look, and I've been surprised. But
Oh, they look great. They're awesome.
No, they do.
Yeah. No, proper, very, very cool. One of the things what has happened now is obviously with our streaming software, and with dealing with different companies, now we can't bring the Instagram comments in, so I can't share them on the stream. We can do that still with YouTube, but at least I'll read them out as we go, because I think most people are watching us on Instagram. So I don't know what happened there with Dean for a sec. So very, very quickly, let's chat about SAs. It took place, I mean, sure, it feels like 5 years ago, but it was a couple of months ago in Durban. Dean, what was that like for you? Are you happy with the comp? And then Kelin will you guys can both jump in on this as you feel fit.
Yeah, I'm super happy. I think everything worked. It was a good comp. We obviously had to, because of time, cancel some of the events. But I was happy. I think it was a good turnout. Lots of, not competitors, a lot of spectators. I'm super happy. I think the guys performed. The trophies were good. Everything ran smoothly, or as could. It was good for me. It was good.
Awesome. And Kelin, from your side,
so we can always improve on what we're doing. Obviously, the comp went well. There was a good turnout. Everything went off well. There's a good competitive spirit. There was a very good atmosphere there at the competition as well. So there are like finer details that we are going to be working on going forward, obviously from a business sense as well. We've got to start thinking about that a lot. Obviously these things cost money, and we need to have a product at the end of the day that we can offer sponsors and that type of thing. So to that end, we are trying to develop, and obviously Africa's we're looking to better our viewpoint and what we do with the arenas and all that stuff, and what sponsors we select for the day and that type of thing. We've just got to have a better direction out of this, so we learn a lot from what we do in the past, and going forward we'll definitely we're trying to make everything bigger and better. So as we go, with the likes of Dean and all the guys that help out with the comps, it's not just a one-man show. So if you see a little president sign on the top of the letterhead, it's not just that guy doing all the work. There's about 8 or 10 other oaks that do get involved in the sport that come from a organization point of view. It's a team effort. We're all gonna try and put our heads together and try and push the sport to a different level now, and go forward.
So I'll jump here. Sorry, I was smiling because there's a couple more comments with regards to the glasses. I'll go into those quickly, and then I want to ask you about your, oh boy, I'm worried about saying this, your vision for the future. Sorry, that was terrible. So again, Harvey says, sorry, just had to because it's still new. Absolutely, I think that was a great trip. And then Iron Empire Primal Powerhouse says, there's vision. So there we go.
There you go, yeah. You can see it, no, for sure.
And then the Hearn is having a good chuckle. So one of the come on guys, I'm trying to focus here. Help me out. So wait, that was that was not intentional. The future, I think we've got some comps coming up. What would you like to see happening within Strongman, within South Africa? what do you guys want to achieve sort of for the balance of this year and then going into 2026?
You want to go first, Dean?
Yeah.
I think obviously Africa's now needs to happen, and I'm sure it's going to be a success. The athletes just need to pitch, and then from there it would move to Strongman Champions League. I know Harvey's busy with that, and I know Kelin and the guys are busy with that. And then after that, I think we can start looking at 2026 and making plans for 2026. I think there's just a lot going on now. And hopefully we can get more sponsors, maybe start combining the sports with powerlifting. That's obviously something that I want to do. Yeah.
I think you guys need to rock up at the Onema Hotel during the WPC champs with some of your gear, set it up in the parking lot, and just say, right, come, let's go. That would be a bit of fun as well for WPC World Champs that's taking place in November. I think that would be kind of cool. I think a powerlifting and a strongman event would be absolutely unbelievable.
Awesome, yeah.
Would be absolutely unbelievable. Yeah. Kelin, from your side, balance of the year, tell us about what's happening and then 2026.
So from my side, we're looking to get out a bit more demos, obviously, in the country. So that's smaller strongman like exhibitions. We're having one at Quagga Mall this weekend, actually, in Pretoria. So it'd be good if you guys or if anyone's out there to go and support the guys and have a look at what's going on. We have the guys from TNT and also Garth Collins, Granite, he'll be there. They're going to just promote the sport and just show the people what it's about. And then for me and Javier are going on a little trip to Dubai next week, and we are going to go represent South Africa at the Strongman Champions League in Dubai. So hopefully I can do top five. I'm looking for a strong top five finishing. Obviously, podium is what we set our sights on all the time. But yeah, I've just got to do a strong performance there and just
awesome
have that prep and readiness for the SCL World Finals, which is coming in November. So it is a bit of pressure on South Africa to host it. But I hope we have a good representation of our strength athletes there at the World Finals. So the strongest guys will be selected to go. And Africa's is going to be quite exciting. We've got two, obviously, world's strongest man competitors coming through. The likes, obviously, of Jakus Kunwinkel, our homegrown hero, one of them. And Evans Nana is coming through from Belgium. He represents Ghana in Africa, and he is also a world's strongest man competitor and athlete. So it'll be a high-level competition this year. It's stepping up the game a bit. Having those guys compete with us, it's a good thing to see, to test, the international measuring sticks of the likes of Evans Nana and Jakus Kunwinkel and Reino Nels. So, if you are boxing with those guys and you can see that you are in punching distance, we can just know as athletes locally where we can push to sit with them, and then obviously get opportunities for the guys to go to the SCL, that type of thing, and promote South African strength sports there. So yeah, that's a short-term goal, is obviously Dubai, then Africa's, and then we set up the calendar for next year and see what we'll do.
Okay, phenomenal. I think it's just you hit on so many good points, and also with regards to a comment you made earlier, sort of with wanting to get to the level of athletes like Brian Shaw and so on. Going to Dubai, it's not cheap. The travel, the staying there and so on, and then also being away from work. So what I wanted to go back to, where you look at a lot of the top level international athletes, a lot of them were able to get there because of the sponsorship levels at home. Not to say that they wouldn't have got there without it, but it definitely makes it easier. When you're running a business, when you're running a family, when you're working for yourself, any time away is time you stop earning, and then not having that don't want to say safety net, but it is in essence a safety net of that extra cash flow coming in, and not knowing that you can commit hours to your training in order to perform better, because it really does come down to hours. I think South Africans, our athletes, have the mindset, they have the focus, they have the dedication, everything that's necessary. So where I'm going with this is, we've touched on the value of the sport and the value of creating heroes. We've seen with Reno Nell how suddenly strongman is, a lot more people are talking about it. A lot more people are becoming aware of the sport. And when you have local athletes that are supported and doing well, or even not supported and doing well, it's something that can really be a shining light for young kids, for parents, to understand that you can become the best version of yourself by participating in the sport. From your guys' experience, and it's a bit of a silly question, but it's something I want to put out, so perhaps those who are not so familiar with the sport will understand. What is the value of sponsorship, not just for competition, but for athletes as well, to support their training and their competing?
I think the support structures that they have overseas, it makes a huge difference. When you say sponsorship, I'm not talking about supplements. I'm talking about if you had someone sponsoring your food.
Yeah.
Sponsoring your rehab, like your massages, recovery, the ice baths. But the food is probably the number one. It makes a huge difference. And where you can have you can have naps through the day, you can recover, you can sleep, and then
you can have the ability to do that.
It makes a huge difference. Huge difference. So for guys that are working 9 to 5 or 8 to 5 and still lifting weights that international guys are lifting, and we don't have that backing, we don't have the sport, we don't have the privilege that we can make it like a semi-professional thing, that you can earn money off it, that you can pay your rent or pay your bond, or those things make a huge difference. I mean, if you sleep all day and then go train at night, it makes a huge difference to when you're working all day and you must come. I mean, and sometimes you hardly get to eat. I mean, if you're really busy and you look again, it's 3:00 in the afternoon and you're having your first meal. It's tough. And also, like you with this type of eating, you force feeding yourself. So, you eat excess calories to gain weight, and it also doesn't help you when you work, because then you start feeling like lethargic and you can't perform. And if you're not performing at work, then you're going to have an issue, So it's a really tight rope to walk on. And I think for guys in our country that have got to a certain level, I think it's a huge achievement without the support that the guys overseas have. And they've always been ahead of us with the way they do things overseas. And if you look at the gyms overseas, most gyms have strongman equipment. When we started strongman, well, I know at least when I started, if there were like 10 events, I could probably only train 3 of the events because I didn't have the implements.
So basically, when we did strongman, when we started, we literally competed and trained at competitions. So we competed very often.
Yeah,
I only carried yokes at competition.
Sure.
So
I think you've made such an incredible point to say, if you look at the level that South African athletes are at, that, with the very restrictive training opportunities that they have, and recovery is number one. I mean, if you can sleep for 4 hours in the morning, you go and get a session in, go eat, go back and sleep for another 4 hours, go get a session in. I mean, that's basically the Russian weightlifting thing is, you sleep 4 hours, eat, train, eat, go back to sleep. It really then enables you to get much higher numbers. And if our athletes are able to perform so well with holding down a job, managing a family, having the restriction. Exactly. You don't want to stuff yourself, but you'd rather give up a meal so you can focus at work. And then you're trying to put on those numbers and those weights, not giving your body the opportunity that it needs to recover, not having access to the bios and the physios and the sports massage and the ice baths that you need to perform. If you did, I think we there's a potential we would be dominating and, really doing well, bringing more people into the sport. So from our side, I think we really want to say sponsors need to get involved in the sport purely because this opportunity in the early stages of a sport and helping a sport to develop, then they're really going to be very, very well positioned to get a better return on their investment by supporting these athletes and by supporting the sport. So just love your guys' thoughts on that.
Yes, I mean, sponsorship is obviously priceless and support is priceless. Like I've been blessed to have a good team in my corner through the likes of JB Protector Services, Body Mechanics, TNT. So, even though there are not as much sponsors in the sport, but there are people that are willing to back the sport and put money in the sport, and to be able to give a return on that would be the best thing to have to give back to your sponsors and that type of thing. So at this stage, Strongman's in its infancy in South Africa. Only now with Reno kicking off and getting that exposure in, it's starting to open the eyes of a lot of people to the sport and that type of thing. So the vision or like the goal would be to bring it up to a level of like rugby, soccer and cricket, where the sport is seen in that kind of light and in that type of way. In the UK, they've managed to do it. So if they have managed to do it, we can definitely sort of not copycat, but like we can use the blueprints that they have used to start bringing a product that people are entertained by and there can be, sponsorship value in that product where there's exposure to it, and working with the people that we are working with. I'm hopeful that will be the view and the end goal at the end of the day, that we will get there and have that kind of return on investment. But it is tough. It's tough to do it. And at this stage, it's love and charity that's kept the sport going. And people like, that have come before us where they've kept it going, and now it's up to us to keep it going further. So, we're building off other athletes and other experience and that type of thing. So athlete development now, I think, at this stage in South Africa is at a decent level, where if you get to the right training group, like Iron Empire and that type of thing, you will get the knowledge and the way forward as a young athlete coming into the sport to know where to go, what to do, and be mentored by, a couple of the top athletes in South Africa, So
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm hopeful that there's a good direction in that, and sponsorship's always priceless. I mean, to realize your dreams coming true and having a sponsor backing you as an athlete, you can't put a price on that. You can't.
No. I think it's just before we go to you, Dean, I want to say a couple of things on this, and then we've got quite a few comments. Some are not related to your glasses, Kelin. And it's so important, and I think that those spectators, those who are loving the sport, those who are not participating yet in the sport, also can help by stepping up and supporting the sponsors that you mentioned, like TNT and these guys, to go, hey, and letting them know, just firing off a message, you're buying supplements, take a photograph, fire off a DM on Instagram, post it, tag them, let them know that what they're doing is bringing a return, is getting exposure, because then it's such a simple thing to do. If you love a sport, support it by supporting not only the athletes as you can, but supporting the sponsors. So the more the sponsors see that they're getting the outreach, they're getting the return on their investment, the more they're going to be able to sponsor, and that's how it grows. Because at early stages within the sport, where we are now, that's exactly what has to happen. So, Dean, from your side, any thoughts?
Or what about the sponsorship? Or
Yeah, just the value of sponsorship and what it means to you.
yeah, I think it's very important. And I mean, without sponsorship, we're not going to be able to have shows. We're not going to be able to grow the sport because it costs money. Your T-shirts, your trophies, everything costs money. Your live streaming, and nothing's for free. I mean, people need to be paid. So we do need sponsors, and that's very, very important.
100%. Thank you. We just want to run through a couple of comments. The Hearn says, and this is a great question, I'm interested in this as well. I wonder who would win a fight, 20 strongmen against a gorilla?
I think the gorilla.
The gorilla.
On the gorilla.
I'm scared of the gorilla, I'll be honest.
I'd probably push Kelin towards the gorilla.
Tuck some
I've
banana.
just got to be.
Yeah.
I just don't have to be lost. That's all.
That's it. You just don't want to be lost.
I'll kick you in the knee, man.
No.
Tuck some bananas in the back of Keelan's shorts when you run.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So there we go. The Hearn, I hope that answer satisfies your question. Then we got Javi again. Habibi, come to Dubai. Gotta love that comment. And then I'm going to mess up the pronunciation. It's Bohmer, Bohmer Andy. A combined strongman and powerlifting competition would be awesome from my side to also see what it's all about. So absolutely, it's a great way to expose both sports to spectators. And then we've got another, I don't know if you guys want to make a comment on that.
Yeah, so what I'd go further to say is we should actually combine strongman, powerlifting, slap fighting, and arm wrestling together.
Sure.
And have a big derby, basically.
Yeah.
That would be my end goal, to have a expo basically based around that. As well as then we can also add the bodybuilders in. I mean, we can't leave them out on the side. But I'd like to have something like that, like Dean's vision for a strongman and powerlifting competition. I think that would be a decent platform for at least both sports. We can grow together. I'd like to start combining with the smaller sports, should I say, but the ones that kind of like align with our not values, but I don't know the word, but our ethos. Yeah. So I mean, arm wrestling, that type of thing. It all is like a spectacle, if you know what I mean. Like strongman's, it's a spectacle, and you got to showcase it in the right way in order to display what it is all about.
Absolutely. I think, and even to include in that the freestanding and strict arm curl, I think that would be fun, epic 5 sports. Hopefully something like that can be put together for 2026. What terrifies me is I'm just now thinking about all of the extra equipment I'm going to have to buy for the stream. But I think that would be something that would be absolutely, absolutely spectacular, just to showcase these smaller strength sports. I mean, that would be a heck of a spectacle. And then also, if you lose, then you get slapped by both of you guys. I think that would be great encouragement to win your division. I don't know how fair that would be, though. That's there. And then Blake Lawrence, strongman, says handsome fellas and a couple of flames going after that. So,
oh, Blakey.
Yeah. Then we go back to the Hearn. To achieve at sport in South Africa is an exceptional achievement. I think we really I second that. It's it's spot on. If you're achieving at international level as a South African athlete, you're really, really doing well, because we don't have the infrastructure and the support. Even for some of the Olympic sports, I remember a few years ago, the South African national hockey team that qualified for the Olympics had to do their own fundraising in order to go. So, if you're fundraising just to go overseas, you're not getting the funds for coaching, for recovery, for nutrition, and all of these things.
Yeah,
so a great point. We've got another one here. So it's Rid One Lifts. Thoughts on Colton joining Strongman next year?
It's tough, though. It's tough. Powerlifters are strong, but strongman's a different sport. I mean, I chatted to Nicolas a little bit about it, and he definitely says, like, you know, what we have to prep for is it's a totally different ball game. Like your programming is just so much different to powerlifting. Where powerlifting you can go to the gym and just practice those 3 lifts over and over. Where strongman you can get thrown anything, lifting a car, flipping a car, picking up stones, natural stones. Like, you know, you can get thrown a curveball at any moment in strongman. So you got to be very adaptable and very athletic. You got to have that skill set as well to adapt on the fly as well sometimes, because not all equipment's the same as well. I mean, sometimes you go to a place and that dumbbell is off balance and it's wonky and all sorts of things. So you got to be able to. But yeah, I mean, it would be definitely interesting to see a powerlifter of that level come over to strongman and see what they can do and apply to our sport.
Yeah, it would be. I think it's very unfair to assume that you would just come into strongman and you would dominate, because powerlifting is also leverage. Depending on your levers, it could make you a good lifter, exceptional lifter. You know, you got to take body mechanics into it. And strongman, you know, there's been some really, really top powerlifters that have tried to convert to strongman and it didn't work for them. So my thing is, you need to come over and you need to do it. You know, and show us. You know, it's you can't sit on the outside and say, okay, because I'm doing X, Y, and Z, therefore I would go into another sport and I'm just going to dominate it. It doesn't work like that. Just like Kelin said, it's just not about athleticism. You've got to be able to maneuver in different positions when you're loading stones or carrying yokes. It's hard to explain. When you come and do it, you'll understand.
Yeah.
So let's see. I believe I spoke to him a couple of weeks ago and I saw him at the market and I said to him, if you ever wanted to train, you're welcome to come train by me. But again, you know, you got to, let's see. It's hard. It's not, you don't just come in and you're going to be a champion. You know, people think Reino obviously went to World's Strongest Man and he won World's Strongest Man. That is an exception. That is a unicorn, you know. It doesn't just happen like that.
It's a rhino, bro. It's a rhino.
Yeah, it doesn't always happen. And you have guys that have been competing at a top level for years.
That have never reached there.
They go to World's Strongest Man every year and they make the final every year, and it just doesn't happen. It's an anomaly. It's a vortex. It's not just going to happen. And so I do hope he comes to strongman. And let's see.
So I think
personally, I think Nicolas would be, and for me, when I look at a guy like Nicolas, I believe that is someone that can transition into strongman. I think he could look. Let's see. I've opened the door. And said, if you want to come train here, you're more than welcome to come train.
Sorry, go ahead.
Not as easy.
Yeah,
it's not as easy as people think it is.
Firstly, you know, I've competed in powerlifting and I've coached in powerlifting at national and international level, and the first strongman comp that I was involved with was nationals in Durban. And from what I saw and my understanding of powerlifting is just watching your guys' deadlifts. You know, we have 3 attempts in powerlifting, and sure, it's at the end of your squat and your bench, but there's no down command in strongman. And to see the guys fight for what feels like an hour to get up a deadlift on their second attempt and then still coming back in, and you know, where there's no hitching, for example, in certain federations in powerlifting, but you doing everything you can to get that up, and just that strength that's required, and then the agility, the mobility, as you said, the different body positions. I think the value for any athlete to consider a sport is their mindset and their commitment to their training that got them to a level, but it's not a guarantee that you'll perform well. And I think anyone coming into strongman, from what I've seen for you guys, is it's years of commitment, irrespective of the base you're coming off, to be able to perform at a high level. Your thoughts on that, guys?
Also, when you're coming into strongman, you got to be prepared to fight. It's a dog fight. It's not just one event and you can go in like 3 lifts. You decide, okay, I'm done with the competition. You have to fight if you want to win it at strongman. Like it's, some events you can come back at the last end of the comp and win it. So we've seen it. Dean holds on till the last end. So if you think you've beaten a guy like Dean Shelley on a competition, and then out of nowhere he'll come back the next two events and he'll just put in that effort. So it's a dogfight. All I can say is you got to be very resilient to be in strongman. You have to have that stubborn mindset that I'm coming to do this, and this is what it is, and I'm going to compete here and do my best in every single event and take it event by event and push through every event to try and win, or at least place top 3 in those events. So it is a dogfight, and what makes it hard is like sometimes you have up to 7 events at a competition, and it's over 2 days, it's over 3 days, so you got to have that ability to recover. You got to have that ability to push through the pain, and it's a dogfight.
You're not, like Keaton, I'm with you 100%. You're not just training 3 events. So when you're training a yoke every single week, when it comes to deadlifting in the week, sometimes you can't even deadlift because your CNS is so bruised, and not even just your CNS, your body is just so bruised, and then you're loading stones and you're loading sandbags. And so it's hard, like I feel when I'm not training strongman, my deadlifts and squats just skyrocket. The moment you start bringing in the yokes and the farmer's walk and the atlas stones, your lifts start going down. It's hard.
Yeah.
So to have a guy like Hafthor Bjornsson go and pull a 510, and then he still goes and wins the competition, that is not human. That is just out of this world, Because how do you deadlift 510 kilos? And then, yes, strongman do use suits, 100%. But that same strongman's going to go carry 150 kilogram farmer's walk. He's loading 150 kilogram sandbags. He's loading stones starting at 140 to over 200 kilograms. I mean, it's So it's interesting, and I'm looking forward to these guys coming into strongman. But it's not as easy as they think it's going to be.
I think it would be great to watch sort of for some of the guys to come in, and I'll run through some. We got a couple more comments, and we also have a comment from Gary Katzen, South African Strict Arm Curl Federation. He's keen, so that's great to see. So that's something we can add to the strength extravaganza idea. But to see some of the powerlifters coming into strongman, perhaps even as guest athletes, just to come in and compete and get an understanding of the sport, and then to chat to them afterwards. I think that would be a great way to promote both sports, perhaps even to see some of the strongmen. I suppose you could have to give up a little bit of your training time to go and compete in a powerlifting competition. That would also be a great idea. And to have all of them together, as you guys have said, in one event, that would be next level. I think that would really be a lot of fun, and maybe potentially that could be a very horrendous sport within its own right. To put all of this together would absolutely be fantastic. Your thoughts on that, guys?
I'll definitely compete in a powerlifting competition. I'd just like to have a good prep for it and maybe take a year to do it. Obviously, don't do any strongman and compete in powerlifting. I have dabbled in powerlifting a little bit in the RPC. So I have played around, with a few RPF comps when I was younger as well. But yeah, it would be interesting to see what I could do if I just focused on those 3 lifts. Obviously, I'm not expecting to go to the pinnacle of powerlifting, but I'd like to do well in a competition and, have a good total, a decent total for my weight class or whatever the case is. So I'd be keen to do powerlifting and switch over a little bit, and then see what I can do.
Awesome. Dean, from your side?
I've also dabbled in the RPC a little bit. Powerlifting wasn't really for me. I think maybe when I'm done with strongman completely, it's something that I'd pursue, but obviously not competitive. I'm not going to be a Nicholas de Prier or Colton Engelbrecht. You know what I'm saying? Just for the sake of having fun, I'll do it.
Okay, awesome. And that's it. It's fun, have the vibe at the comp. The most fun I've ever had in powerlifting competing was when I wasn't chasing a medal. And, those are really special days. You can hang around and laugh. I did an SA bench this year. I think it was this year. And we had an event. We had a live stream afterwards. So they kindly let me lift with some of the ladies in the ladies group. And by the way, I didn't get the highest numbers by far on that day, which was also great. So, that's a lot of fun. Going into a comp and not being competitive within powerlifting as well is really, it's a lot of fun. I don't know, from having met you guys, if it's something you would be doing in strongman, because I just think the commitment to even get to the competition is you're going to be taking it very seriously. We had another question from Ridwan Lifts, but I think we sort of answered it. How far will a 1200 raw powerlifter go up against the big boys of strongman? I think we've sort of really answered that question, where the sports are fundamentally different. And then Javi's asked Kelin a question about juice. Do you prefer cranberry or orange?
With creatine.
With creatine, yeah.
Cranberry creatine, yeah.
Cranberry creatine, there we go. Okay,
back to Ridwan's comment. There's
Yes.
been phenomenal strong powerlifters out there with huge totals. Guys that can squat 450 kilos, right? But they can't carry a 450 kilogram yoke. It's a different dynamic. And the thing is, the yoke is not about completing the yoke. I mean, the yoke is a yoke race. So when you're carrying 450 kilos, when you're carrying anything over 12 seconds, over 15 meters, you are slow.
Yeah.
So, your total, and I mean it with the utmost respect to anyone out there, your total means zero. Just like the world's strongest man means zero when you go into a powerlifting comp, if you're the world's strongest man. It's two different sports, it's two different worlds, and it should be treated as such. We shouldn't compare each other to each other, but you're having a big total like that does not mean you are going to come into strongman and be world's strongest man, because the events are brutal. Atlas stones, I was just thinking about the Atlas stone. The Atlas stone is a bicep killer. I mean, I know Kelin knows tons of athletes. The moment you just lift that stone in the wrong way, pop goes the bicep.
Even the tire flip.
The tire flip's the
worst.
worst.
Flip almost killed a lot of people, yeah.
Yes, the tire. I mean, I don't know.
Look, we're not saying that it's impossible. We're not saying it's impossible for a powerlifter to come over. I mean, if you look at Big Z, he used to be a powerlifter before strongman. He did a good switch over, but you got to commit. You got to come in. You got to start from the basics, and you got to put the ego at the door, almost, type of thing, and understand that you got to learn new things. And strongman, there's plenty of events in strongman. We're only mentioning a few. There's a lot more events, like pulling trucks, truck pulling, hand over hand, boat pulling. At SCL in the USA, they pulled a ferry to the harbor, so you're pulling over. I don't even know how much that boat would weigh, but they're pulling different types of vehicles. They're doing different types of events. So it's just about, if you're going to make the commitment to transfer over to strongman, you got to make that commitment properly and learn and progress. You know, if you excel 100%, like Reino, he excelled as soon as he touched strongman implements, but that's just his natural ability. So everyone has their own natural ability. Like maybe you're naturally, you know, like better at doing powerlifting. So, you know, we all have our natural talents. So you just got to come and do and see where you are good at what events and see what events you are not good at and take it from there. But we're not saying it's impossible for powerlifters to be great strongmen or top level strongmen. It's just that it is you gotta check the ego at the door a little bit as well, with our sport, as well as, you know, us going into powerlifting. It wouldn't be just a walk in the park and just let's go and beat or become champion of or champion powerlifter, you know.
But I think the value is try, at least, and, you know,
You got to try,
try, have some fun, be part of the community, start to build relationships in the different communities and support one another, support the different sports. I just wanted to mention something. We've hit an hour on Instagram. Instagram only gives us an hour on the reel, so those who are watching, we'll have the first hour of our chat up online. For the full interview, you can go onto YouTube for those wanting to watch it again, because YouTube gives us obviously unlimited, which is great. I think we may have lost Dean. Okay, he's back.
I think Dean fell asleep.
Yeah.
I think Dean fell asleep.
Okay.
He's old. You must understand. He's an old buddy now.
Yeah. What I was worried about is, Dean, was that noise from the chair that you were moving?
No, just the stumble jar.
Okay.
It was his knees.
Okay.
Yeah, my knees, yeah.
Your knees.
My knees. Jeez.
So we got a great comment as well, again, just from the Hearn to finish with this. Being strong in powerlifting doesn't guarantee that you'll be a good strongman. Strongman is wild. There's no weight divisions in the jungle. So there we go. And I know Dean's super strong because he was threatening to throw any of the athletes over the wall into the river at the competition if they misbehaved. So, you know, there's a lot of overhead pressing there. And then you got from Dane Grunewald, we've got a couple of flames, which is great to see. So also very, very cool. I think, you know, sort of we've touched on this a lot. I think the value really is just for the athletes or even the spectators is come and give it a try and experience it for yourself. Because I think once you've done both, even at a, like I would call it a club level, a fun level, you'll get a better understanding as to what's required. Because my eyes were properly opened at the competition. Like the first event would have been more than enough. And then to see what's going on. And also, I think to pay a lot of respect to the South African competitors, I didn't see many of the guys that were there that were not involved in helping set stuff up. You know, whether it was carrying or moving or warming up one another, coaching one another. You're talking about getting suits on, getting suits off. You're not just lifting and sitting and resting, lifting and sitting and resting. There's a lot of movement and there's a lot of extra work that goes into it. I mean, Dean, I know for your side as well, like just trying to get in any sleep before the comp, because we chatted a couple of days before the comp and you were always busy with stuff, whether it was getting the shirts ready, the caps ready, getting the event set up, moving trucks. There's so much that goes into it. On that point, guys, what would you like to see from the community in terms of supporting the sport? I'll throw that out to both of you.
The strongman community.
Yeah, the strongman community. Meaning the athletes and the spectators.
So from the athlete side, like what I'd like to see from athletes is promote your division and get new blood into the sport. As an open class athlete, we always brought in new athletes, as did the 105s. You know, they always brought in new guys to the sport. Whereas the divisions underneath 105, under 80s, under 90s. Look, the under 80s, under 90s are growing. But to have the division, we need at least 4 people in a division. So if you are looking at this and you want to have your under 80 kilo division, we need to start having competitors in it. So from the athlete and the community as a strongman community, I'd like to see guys promoting that end and trying to attract more talent to the sport. in their own right, like just inviting guys to the gym, just say, hey, I think you could do good at strongman. Why don't you try it out? We've got this demo here. We've got this competition here. It's a low-level competition. You can compete and just try it out. And then just obviously from the community as a whole, as from a fan's perspective, just subscribe to all the guys that are putting out content, like their stuff, share their stuff. It just helps get the footprint of strongman out there and bigger. So we just need exposure at this stage as well. So from that end, that would help us a lot.
Absolutely. Dean, from your side?
Yeah, I'm with Kelin 100%. Community must come out, support the athletes, come to the shows, come to the demos. The athletes must promote the divisions. I mean, it's hard when you're hosting a competition and you've got one athlete in a division and they expect you to have a division for an athlete. It's
Absolutely.
It doesn't make sense.
That's how it happened in the past. That's where Tristan and Dean and Rory and Russell and all of that, they help promote and get guys in. I mean, that's where I got caught up by Tristan and Dean at the SCL comp, and that's where I got interested a bit more into strongman, and that's how it goes. And I mean, Chris, we pulled in from a competition in Bloemfontein, and he became one of the top strongmen in South Africa. So just you never know where they're going to come from, and you just got to put on these promotions and just talk to people in the gym and just say, hey buddy, come. I think you'll do great at strongman. What are you doing? Are you just training, or do you want to have a little bit of a fun sport to try out and just see what pulling a truck is about and that type of thing? And then it just builds from there. When the iron snake bites you, as Dean says, then you get hooked and you find these top level athletes that come out of nowhere,
Absolutely. I think it's, and I hope people understand the incredible opportunity that they have to really have an effect on the sport. If you're talking about, for just Premier League football as an example, or rugby, you're not going to, as an individual, have a huge effect on the sport by telling someone to get involved. But at this level, where the sport is young and it's growing, talk to everyone that you can, get them into the sport, and then you've got an opportunity to maybe see guys a year or two down the line at competitions doing well, going to represent South Africa, and then you can say to yourself, I told him, I had a word, I said he'd do well in the sport, or she'd do well in the sport and can grow it. And I really also like speaking to Strongman Pro, she's saying not getting support from her school. We really like to see the school start to support this, because it's really an opportunity to develop and grow character, which is absolutely, absolutely vital. I think just on a couple of fun points, for a question for each of you guys, and then also just again, the Hearn says anyone who's ever used a log understands just how brutal strongman really is. I'm not quite sure what he's talking about and what way he's using the log, but no. It's not often you deadlifting or putting an overhead press down on tires. So and for me that bounce back, you've got to be explosive yourself when that thing hits those tires and comes back at you. That's a very, very it's a very serious sport, if I can put it that way. But again, something I'd like to stress for the parents: the different events are set for different competitions. So the ones we're talking about, Atlas stones, tire flips, the log, doesn't necessarily mean that if you get your child involved in the sport, that's what they're going to be doing. I think the organizers, you guys take this very seriously. Safety is paramount. I mean, there were no issues at the comp that we saw, and the only injury was your yoke. I think that popped. So, everyone was safe, which is something also just to stress. Just as a bit of would you like to share anything on that, or can I hit you guys with the next questions?
Next question's fine.
Cool, perfect. What has strongman given you, Dean?
Purpose, I think.
Okay, cool. Sure.
Purpose, worthiness.
That's and in a safe and appropriate way, which is really, really cool. Kelin, for you?
it's given me a purpose, direction, goal setting, but also it's given me friendships. It's given me extended family.
Sure.
You know, some guys, you know, you'll spend your hours with, you know, day in and day out training. So like with like, for instance, like myself, Reno and Fricky, we spend so much time together that, you know, they just become extended family. At the end of the day, you just spend so much time with these people that, you know, and as well as the likes of the guys at the Iron Empire, like, I know it's new, but we've all been training together for quite a while, and you know, you spend your time with that. Like, I mean, you know, many times before the Iron Empire, we'd have bras at Harvey's place while we're training, and you know, we just have that kind of community together that you know, the guys are all together and we support each other, you know.
Oh, phenomenal. Thank you, guys. I mean, that's in this day and age as well. I mean, to talk about purpose and community, there are so many people out there, and I think particularly young men as well, that are struggling for purpose, for community. That the sport is such an easy way and a simple way into that, and people can just reach out to you on your socials, and we'll tag you in the posts. You know, just say, hey, I saw your podcast, your interview. I'd like to get involved. So, on a light-hearted question, it doesn't have to be too serious. Kelin, I'll start with you. What drives you mad about strongman?
Dean Shelley.
Okay. Hang on a second. Okay, fair enough. I'm not going to ask why. Hey? Guys, ladies and gentlemen, let us know in the comments what you think. No, okay. Dean, for you, what drives you mad about
like what
strongman?
upsets me?
Yeah, that's it. What upsets you? What drives you mad? That's it. Yep.
There's a lot that upsets Dean. You must just watch. This is a loaded question.
Yeah, I know.
I'm looking
a long list.
I'm looking for my sound effects here to see if I got a drum roll. Yeah.
Just more appreciation as well. Like athletes that don't appreciate the fact that
sure.
Setting up a comp, what goes behind it, and just getting there and complaining, you know, and complaining to the organizer that this, and you know, like the ref's decision is the final decision, and if the equipment is set up the way it's set up, you know, you got a responsibility as an athlete to be professional and understand that sometimes competitions are, you know, rugby games aren't even called properly by the refs and that type of thing. So don't come there with the attitude and moan at the ref. Oh, this guy had his toe over the line a little bit, so his time is a bit more. That type of thing. We don't want these petty squabbles, you know, in the competitions and that type of thing, because it does, you know, disheartens the promoters and the guys that are organizing the competitions. And now we've got to set out time to sort out your your pathetic grievance, yeah. And you know, if it is a big thing like point scoring, and that, you know, we are human, we do make mistakes and that type of thing, and sometimes calculations, you know, strongmen aren't the you know, boffins. Now we've got an engineer involved, so I know Reno got 99% for one of his maths exams, so we do have a guy that's got some mathematical ability, but yeah, no, there's always mistakes that happen, and we've just got to look past it and be professional and just think a little bit further than our noses and understand that, okay, this could have just been a human error, or, you know, the way the comp is set up, it's set up for the same for the next guy that's going. So, and unfortunately, you know, sometimes we do have equipment failure and we have to change yokes, or we have to change bars, or do this and that. So, you know, to that end, we just got to, the organizers are putting it on, we're trying to put on a show. So just support it, be professional. And if you do have any legitimate issues, then come see us. We'll definitely sort it out. But just don't come with the approach that you start whining and shouting at us. But that's the main thing in strongman that I know that used to, you know, drive a lot of organizers mad. So
yeah, those petty squabbles. I'm with Kelin. That's the most annoying. And especially if you're not even in the top two. If you know, if you're complaining and you're in 6th and 7th or 5th position, I mean, then I think you're in the wrong sport. You know, if you shouldn't be in sports. I mean, if it's points because it's me and Kelin for the win or top 3, but I mean, if you're coming 5th and 6th, I mean, you should just shut your mouth and go work hard, because you're not even making the grade of top 3.
Put the energy into your training.
Yeah, go put the energy into your training. I mean, to fight over things and to move from 7th to 6th. I mean, what difference does it make? You're still not in the top 3.
Yeah. Now, look, if there's a valid, thing where the points are the points, then we will rectify it, but just approach us a bit differently. I understand you're upset, but just approach us a bit differently, and the response will be a bit better from the organizers' side as well. Because when people start to complain and whine, it doesn't get received nicely. Like no one wants to deal with it. Obviously, especially with pressure of putting on a big comp and that type of thing, and having the guys come to you. Like referees' decisions and that you gotta live with it. And the way the comp is set up, the way the events are set up, you gotta live with it. If I'm doing the next oak's going to do the same thing. So you can't you got to prepare for the competition, that type of thing. And the rest decision is final. If he calls it bad on the first oak and he calls it differently on the third oak, that's the referee's discretion, and his word is final. So we've got to just bite it, and because like internationally, I've had a few events go wrong, where they haven't set it up correctly or whatever the case is. But at the end of the day, you just push through and you carry on with the event, because at the end of the day, that's what the organizers want. They want people there that are going to be amicable and will just carry on with the competition. And
I understand that you're an ambassador for the sport. You're there to support the sport. And I think just as a question, as someone who's very new to the sport, do you find the athletes that are coming in early and taking time up to the comp to help you set up, those involved in the setup, in bringing competition equipment, in setting up competition, those are the ones who usually don't complain?
Yeah, correct. They don't complain. They probably understand the mission as well, a bit more than most. But they just gotta go there with the viewpoint as to understand that you are an ambassador for the sport, you're an ambassador for South Africa as well. So if you're going there being a little whiny, athlete, then they're going to be like, hey, what did you send me? Why did you send me this guy to World Strongman? Why did you send this guy to SCL? So you got to understand that you also got to be you got to understand that you got more on your shoulders than just I'm going to go compete in a competition. Yeah, because you're representing the nation, you're representing your sport, and that
you're representing your sponsors.
Yeah, correct, as well as your sponsors. So it's a big responsibility at the end of the day to compete and be, on that kind of stage.
For sure. I think to end on a lighter note, but I think it's important that did need to be said, because people need to understand that neither of you are retiring on money made from organizing competitions just yet. And it's something that's given as passion and as commitment to the sport and for the love of the sport. So I think let me start off with Dean. Why should someone be involved in in strongman? Why should someone get into the sport of strongman?
Well, after what's been said, I don't know if anyone wants to be involved, but yeah.
No, so why should someone take up the sport? I think it's like, I think
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. It's really a lot of fun, and it pushes you to your limits. It makes you, adversity makes you or breaks you, and strongman is adversity, and it's going to carry over into life. It's a lot of fun.
Awesome. Love
that. Loading stones, carrying farmers walks, loading sandbags, pushing your body to breaking limits. It's an amazing feeling. It is.
Awesome. Love that. Kelin, from your side?
Yeah, sorry, I misunderstood. I thought you said from the organizer side.
Sorry. No. Oh, no.
Yeah, no. It's like no one will want to organize now. We've got some problems to deal with. But yeah, um, look, strongman's always, excited me, and more than any other sport that I have, competed in. So, for me, it's exciting to lift a stone, but I think it goes back to your primal instincts. Being the strongest is just the most rewarding thing when you go there to, it always started off when you're a kid and you say, my dad's stronger than your dad, and that type of thing. So, just being the strongest is just I know it can be seen as juvenile, but
nothing wrong with being juvenile.
Be like, I'm strong, it's nice,
I think
that's why I enjoy it. So
yeah, it's intrinsic in who we are. So go ahead.
People misunderstand or misinterpret is, even though we're clever monkeys, we're still monkeys at the end of the day. So we need that physical activity. We need to be moving. I mean, they're linking lack of movement to depression and mental illnesses. So, again, we are animals. Yes, we are very smart animals, but we need to move. We need to lift things. So you have to.
Absolutely. And it's I think it's such a great all-round sport, from the mid 2000s, this whole functional movement and functional fitness, this craze came about, where the question really is, well, what function are you training for? Because it was sort of misused in many, many places. But for function for life, I think strongman as a sport, or even just as a training modality.
Any training.
Yeah, it's absolutely phenomenal. Move in different ways. You'll live longer, you'll live better, you'll get less injured, and you'll get less hurt. Because the thing is, everyone talks about, oh, well, this athlete tore a bicep, the sport must be dangerous. Yeah, but the athlete who tore a bicep training is far less likely to fall in their 60s or 70s and break a hip, and then their life is over. So, it's a balance. When you drive a car, there's wear and tear, but it's going to last longer than sitting in the garage and doing nothing, or just running to the shops. You got to get it out on the highway every now and then. So it's such an incredible sport. And from my side, what I've seen, and being very fortunate to be involved in these amazing sports, it's just something I would encourage schools to look at. I would encourage parents to look at, to get in touch with you guys, because I know that, talk about clever monkeys. Yeah, we're clever monkeys. The competition organizers are clever as well. If you're dealing with 12-year-olds, you're going to design it a little bit different than if you're dealing with the world championships. But because of the flexibility in it, and I love my powerlifting, and I love weightlifting, and I love kettlebells, but there's much more flexibility in how to design something for different age groups, different strength categories, different levels of development within our youth. And I think that's what makes strongman such an amazing and such a perfect sport for that.
Agreed.
Yeah.
No, definitely. But yeah, you can always keep it safe. Like, you got to always have, your coaches behind the kids as well. So it won't just be the kids running around and going to go lift something. You'll have someone coaching them, making sure that they recover, making sure that the soft tissues are worked on, or at least the stretches are done, and that type of thing. So you mitigate risks in terms of injuries and that type of thing by keeping the scar tissue away from the joints, making sure that they're doing isometric holds for their tendons and ligaments, and doing certain exercises that do assist with the joint health and that type of thing. And you can mitigate, bicep tears and pec tears by making sure that the kids are healthy. And it just goes down to coaching and, designing things around the children and, just developing them slowly, in certain aspects. We're not trying to send them to world's strongest man off the bat.
Yeah.
They've got to just develop, and through those stages, you do the developing stages in their progress,
That's it. And I can't wait to see Dean at a primary school coaching kids that are wanting to stay on the seats on the grandstand rather and eat Cook Sisters rather than train. It'll be such a gentle approach. So this is how you throw a classmate.
But actually, I did do some coaching with Sharks kids. when I was
Okay.
playing.
Sure.
Yeah, with the
Epic.
little ones.
Okay.
It's a
Yeah.
lot of fun though.
Yeah.
But they don't listen.
Yeah.
They all run in their own directions.
Yeah.
They like smash each other. That's a lot. It's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. Absolutely. I think you'd be
Yeah.
fantastic at that. You are fantastic at that. So there we go, folks. If you're looking for a coach for your school, like just throwing out more stuff on Dean now. I think it's just such a great thing to get involved in. Guys, I know we've probably detracted from 2 of your meals in the time that we're sitting here and we're chatting, and I'm very grateful for your time. Fantastic comments and interaction from the audience as well. I just want to know, is there anything that you'd like to touch on just before we start to wrap up?
No, I'm good.
No, I'm good. Yeah, no, I think we've talked about a lot. So yeah.
Awesome. No, definitely. And I think just to wrap up, if you're a fan of the sport, support the sport by following the athletes, engaging with athletes. Let the athletes know on their socials what they're doing means to you. Reach out, find out, hey, are you sponsored? Who are your sponsors? Go and tag the sponsors in a comment. Hey, I did this because I'm using your service because you're sponsoring this athlete who I look up to. Let's let our sponsors know what's happening. Let them have the feedback. Make sure that you support the sponsors who support the athletes, and also that you support the athletes so that we can grow the sport. Because really, Strongman deserves, because of what it gives people in the community, from what I've seen in the very short time that I've been involved, what Strongman deserves to become mainstream. And it really, more people deserve the opportunity to be part of it.
Yeah, and then with that point, they can follow our Instagram pages or profiles. So Iron Empire is one of the profiles that you can follow, as well as SA Strength Sports or South African Strength Sports. Those are the 2 organizations that are dealing with Strongman, and SA Strength Sports is dealing with Strongman specifically in South Africa.
Awesome.
So those are the 2 pages to watch in terms of like competitions, where to train, coaching, that type of thing.
Awesome. We'll tag those in the posts so that guys can see where to go as well. Also, what we're going to do with this video is I'm going to send it off to our editors. They're going to chop it up for us into shorts as well, and we'll get that out because we've covered so much fantastic content as well. Really cool. Dean, from your side, anything to wrap up with?
No, I'm good, and I'm grateful that we had this podcast. It was a lot of
Finally
fun.
yeah.
We kept it clean.
Yeah.
Kept it very clean, yeah.
Yeah, I must say, I'm impressed.
Yeah, I'm a little bit in shock, actually. So very grateful. Thank you, guys. Much appreciated. Is there anyone like you guys would like to give a shout out to that's been supporting the sport or that's about to compete, or anyone you just want to say hi to?
I think Bobby's like one guy. I mean, the guy.
Shout out to Bobby, yeah.
Yeah, he puts huge amounts of effort in, and he has been the last 2 years. And
absolutely awesome.
Yeah, and good luck to Reno that's competing at Rogue, and also good luck to all the athletes that are going to be prepping now or competing for Africa. So yeah, it's a big year for us, I think.
It's going to be epic. I'm looking forward if we can have a little chat just before Africa's. I think that'll be fun. A little bit more about the comp to let people know, because we'll be live streaming it, something that we're very proud to be able to do, and absolutely looking forward to it. I think maybe just before we wrap up, are there any sponsors? And I know it's very short notice. I haven't prepared you guys for this, but sponsors that you guys would like to give a shout out to and thank, just so we can get them mentioned, and then I'll tag them as well.
Sponsors, definitely TNT. Shout out to them for assisting in supporting. Well, they always support Strongman in South Africa, helping fuel our athletes and that. And their support goes a long way. Shout out to Body Mechanics, who help a few guys up here in Joburg with their body, their soft tissue work and that type of thing. And then shout out to my sponsor, JB Protective Services, for always being in my corner. And yeah, blessed with having these people, and having them involved in the community. So
awesome. Thank you. Dean, from your side?
No one to thank.
Okay.
there's Dean Shelley.
Just Dean Shelley. That's 100%. All right, absolutely.
Thank you to Joe. I think Joe needs a medal, bro. I think she needs a trophy, my man.
Yeah, I think so too. And then also Jaco Squinwinkel.
Yeah.
Maybe have him on the podcast.
Okay, awesome. Cool. We'd love that. 100%.
I haven't responded to his message. I actually thought of it now.
Okay. Sorry, Jaco. All right, we'll chase him up on that as well. That'll be great.
Maybe before Africa's.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, before Africa's.
Yeah.
All right, done. Yeah, so we're going to be down in Cape Town from we're leaving on Monday morning. We'll be back around about the 23rd. We're live streaming the IPF World Masters Powerlifting Championships down there. I'm doing the announcing, which is going to be a lot of fun because I'm really great at pronouncing names with my dyslexia. So that's going to be fun. So when I'm back, we'll get him on and get that set up. And have him on, and if there's anyone else on there as well. And then we're really looking forward to being out there and doing some streaming. I think we're going to stream it. We'll take some photos, and we're going to have a lot of fun on that as well. So thank you guys, really. Thank you so much for the time. This is, I think, probably been our longest coffee and conversations with champions, but it's been the most fun and something that we've been trying to put together for a while.
No, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been great work.
Absolutely epic. So for anyone who watches this, if you want to go back on Instagram, it's only going to be an hour, but the full version will be up on YouTube shortly. Guys, if you can stay online, I'll chat to you very quickly. I'm going to end the live stream, and then I'll chat to you, both of you, quickly off air. All right. So Warren Brits just joined. Warren, sorry, we're ending it. Please go back on YouTube in a couple of minutes. You can see the full episode. All right. Thank you, guys.